Hello friends, welcome to the next video. So again, I want to thank everybody for watching. I've got my tea here, my mid-afternoon tea practice pad here by the pool. It's a beautiful day in Bali, Indonesia, and I'm very happy you're watching this video. Today I want to talk about how to pick your drum instructor or teacher or guru or whatever it is you want to call that person. I did another video in which I talked about the relationship of the teacher and, let's say, student, in which I don't believe in those words. Okay, teacher student, I think that puts a weird hierarchy on people, and especially in drumming, I think it's important to realize that there's only human beings on different parts of the journey. Okay, that's my philosophy in general. I don't like to look at anybody as a student of mine or something like that. Actually, this philosophy is very prevalent in India, and that's where I solidified it. I got it from, and I think it's very nice because it makes the relationship more human. Let's say there's more connection, I think. So how do you pick your drum instructor or the person that's going to take you on the drumming journey that's more advanced than you or been around longer? I'd say one of the first things you need to do is look and see how many gigs this person has done. What type of work? Where's the body of work? Where has he played? Has he been on tours? Has he played with any big artists? Does he have, or she, do they have their own projects? Do they have CDs or records out under their own name? Do they have books out? Have they taught at any big universities or any drumming institutions? If not, then I would be not taking lessons with them personally. You know, now I know this is a lot to ask from a drum instructor, but to be honest, you know, the position of instructor is a big responsibility. It's something very, very unique and personal and very special in my humble opinion. There are so many people out there that just never consider anything about this relationship except how to get money from whoever it is they're teaching. And I think that's one of the most sick things there is. With YouTube, YouTube is great, okay, because it allows me to reach you guys and it allows many other things. But it also allows a level playing field where anybody can get up there and start showing things about drumming. I'm not even going to say teaching things because they're showing things. You know, this is a great pity because there's no thing more disgusting to me than taking advantage of a drum student. So when I was coming up, I had that problem all the time because I could not find, you know, good teachers. I was in different countries, you know, when I was a kid, I couldn't find good teachers, and I got constantly scammed and ripped off by, you know, basically shysters who thought they were playing the drums at some level or other. Anyway, very sad situation. I spent a lot of money and I wasted so much time on these people. And it really makes me mad to think about it. So when you're choosing an instructor, even if you're watching them on YouTube, I think you should consider all the things that I said. Now, there is the myth, you know, the legend and history that there are great players but bad teachers, and there are bad players who are good teachers. This is a very small percentage of situations, okay? Very small percentage of situations. You should not be basing your career, if you want to really be, a musician, on these kinds of myths. It's crazy and ridiculous. Are there great players that are bad teachers? Yeah, of course. But the great players aren't like pursuing you to take lessons from them, okay? There's not a lot of great players that I know in this world who's like, oh my God, I need you as a student, come study with me because blah, blah, blah. Man, they're playing, okay? If anything, you gotta seek them out and see what they know and get what you can out of them and go to their gigs and act as if you are an apprentice of them, okay? Which is another topic that I would like to touch on briefly. A guy that does only, YouTube videos, teaching on YouTube, showing on YouTube, is not someone that I would recommend you be watching, because they come from a standpoint of books, books and stuff that they've learned even in university or whatever, and they're trying to make a name for themselves, and they're doing it by making YouTube videos. Okay, now this is something that I am very, very against. My motto is always for these people is don't teach, go play. My motto for everyone, and basically, is don't teach, go play. Don't make teaching a priority. Well, these guys make teaching a priority because they have no gigs. Let's face it, nobody wants to play with them. Why? Because they probably stink when they're playing music. Okay? Let's talk honestly here. I'm from New York, so I still can't get rid of the thing where I say things directly. And, sorry if I come off too direct, but that's the way I feel. I feel really angry when I see people ripping students off, especially online. Now, who am I, okay, to be saying these things? Let me just tell you about my teaching background. I taught at MI for 12 years. I was the, let's say, first call sub for most of the classes there, from big band to reading to ensemble technique to subbing for Ralph Humphrey, odd meters, whatever. I did the entire curriculum on open counseling, private lessons. I did it all, basically all. The Latin department, I was the big sub for the Latin department. And I did that for 12 years. In those 12 years, I wrote two books, Latin soloing for the drum set and Working the Inner Clock, the first part. Okay, those were designed basically with, ethnomusicologists and keeping the students, the hundreds and hundreds of students, thousands of students in mind that were coming through the school. Okay. After that, I taught in Germany. I taught at the Drummers Institute for 4 years. I taught in New York at Drummers Collective for 4 years. I was the dean of students at a university in India called Swarnabhumi Music Academy. I was there for 2 years teaching Western drums and also studying Konako, by the way. And I have 4 instructional products out with Hudson Music and 2 with Hal Leonard. And I have my own lessons website, which is one of the biggest in the world, philmaturano.com. You can check it out. One of the most complete and innovative curriculums in the world, based on the thousands upon thousands of students that I've taught all over the world, not only in the West. So it gives me a unique perspective on what people need, even if you're not from a Western culture. Okay, people from different cultures need different things. Okay, so that's who I am. I've also done hundreds and hundreds of clinics all over the world representing different drum companies, all the way from Paiste to Sabian now. I've been with her many, many years. I'm with Odery Drums now. I've done a ton of clinics for them in the East, in China, in Asia, and also in South America. And yeah, my clinic career is very, very vast, all over the world. So as a teacher on that level, I can say that I take my job very seriously. In the sense that I feel a great sense of, or a feeling of responsibility to what I say, what I do. The last thing I want to do is put my own aesthetic thoughts onto someone, onto a developing artist, in the sense of vocabulary. Okay? All my curriculum is designed to give somebody a grid to which they can build their vocabulary on. I don't tell them to play a certain way. You know, that I think is a great irresponsibility, to try to get somebody to play a certain way, like this guy or that guy. Because one of the biggest things in music and art, and all of art, is to have your own voice. So anything short of helping a person to develop their own voice, no matter what style it is massively irresponsible. Now, I get this perspective because I have this, you know, tremendous teaching background. Okay, as far as gigs go, I've played all over the world with many different artists. I mean, you know, too long to mention. You can go on my website and see everybody I've played with. I've done tours. I've been touring since I was 22, 23. I've been playing since I was, you know, basically 2 years old. I'm not serious at 2 years old, but I started. And at 14, I started taking lessons with Roy McCurdy, got more into jazz and stuff like that. So, you know, I'm a lifer, as they say, a lifer. And all that experience gives me a platform to base my, let's say, theories of teaching on, okay? How do you know somebody is not a good teacher? Well, one of the easiest ways to see this is online and on YouTube. And one of the first things that people do is infotainment. Infotainment drum lessons, okay? They'll have like 15 drummers in their video. You know, they can't hold people's attention like this and just a one-on-one without tons of edits, you know, bringing in drummer snippets from other drummers and this and that, you know, kind of blowing themselves up and their material up by saying, well, so-and-so does this way, and or how to play like this guy, how to play like that guy, how to play like that. In my humble opinion, over the thousands and thousands of students that I've seen all over the world, that is the worst thing that you can do to somebody. Because in music, like I said before, in art, nobody cares if you're a copy of Dave Weckl. Dave Weckl is Dave Weckl, and if they want him, they're going to call him, okay? Vinny, the same. I've seen, you know, back in the day, there was this, when Dave was coming up, I would see these Dave Weckl clone guys with the mullet and the tank top, and it was so bizarre to see these guys, you know, and they played like Dave, you know, and they held the sticks like Dave back then, way back here, you know, and all this stuff. So it was pretty bizarro to see that obsessive behavior, and why would somebody would do that to their careers is beyond me. But you know, one of the most important things is to develop your own voice and to give a person the opportunity to do that. Okay, so the subject of apprenticeship. Apprenticeship in drumming has been a very, very important thing in different cultures. For example, in India, Okay, I know about this because like I said, I spent 2 years in India. I've been all over the country. I toured. I played, many concerts with amazing artists from India, and of course, I was teaching the whole time at the conservatory. So, in India, what people do is they have a much more apprenticeship kind of approach. So basically what happens, if you go study with somebody, your tabla guru, as they call it over there, or madungram, or whatever you want to study, kanjira, etc., you have to go live in the guy's house. Like, for example, if you wanted to go study, let's say with Dave Weckl, you'd have to go live in Dave's house with him. Okay, that's pretty funny. But that's the way they do it over there. They have all the students living in the house of the teacher, and every morning they get up and they go on this, and they have a big patio and they do konakol. By the way, in India, you don't touch any drums until you learn konakol, which is the correct way to do it. In Cuba, you play clave in the street and your teacher tells you go here, go there, until you understand clave. You don't touch a drum, right? And other cultures, it's like that as well. So the apprenticeship model is something very prevalent in these countries. Now, for example, the benefits, let me say, the benefits, for example, of this is that you have much more human contact with someone who's an experienced player like this. Because you're living your daily life with them. You eat with them, you sleep under the same roof. I mean, to me, that's amazing. I don't know if I could handle that, to be honest, because I'm like a really private person on my own. I'm a pretty solitary guy. I don't like too much company all the time, which is bizarre, because as a musician, well, I guess once you're exposed to so many people all the time, you reach your point where you just want to be alone for a long, long time, which is also bad. But the apprenticeship model has its benefits, which are very, very amazing to me. In the West, we used to have that. We used to have it, and it used to be called being taken under someone's wing, right? Somebody takes you under their wing, and you study with them, and you go to their gigs, and maybe you do roadie work for them, and they take you everywhere, and they show you stuff, and it's not like it stops after 1 hour. Okay, pay me in 1 hour. Okay, bye, see you next week. Here's your exercises, go practice. That is a weird way to do things, to me, right? And in university, if you go to university, it's a bit different because you're living the life in university. But frankly, I would never in a million years pay $24,000 a year to go to a place like MI or Berkeley, $90,000 a year to study drums, or for the 4 years or 2 years. I don't know what it costs now, but it's unbelievably expensive. There's no way in hell that I would do that. The apprenticeship model, unfortunately, has gone by the wayside, being saved in some way only by the advent of technology like YouTube. And of course, the opportunity to study online, like on a lesson site. Now, all this put together, okay, gives me the opportunity to have this lesson site, for example. Here's how it works, okay? You take into consideration everything I said. Okay, we're not in the same physical location, but on the lesson site, you see everything that I know, okay? Everything. And it's a massive lessons library based on, curriculum that I've designed over decades, using the most innovative methods. Why do I say that? Because I know what works and what doesn't work, right? I know what wastes time and what gets directly to the source. For example, in drumming, there are many styles, okay, genres, but the one thing that threads through every genre of music is rhythm. Rhythm, cycles, okay? 3-bar cycle, 5, 7, 9. There's so many cycles. There's cycles, endless cycles, and the study of rhythm is something nobody puts forth. Why? So as you can see, there are many reasons why I had to make this video to help you protect yourself from fraudulent, wannabes and people who just want to take your money, which is so disgusting to me. Protect yourself from the infotainment channels. These guys are, oh, how come you improve your bass drum? It's the tension, the spring tension. Make this 30-minute video about spring tension. As we say in Italy, nado. Okay. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and remember, the lesson site is waiting for you. $200 gets you in a full year program. There's a lifetime membership now for $500. I'm doing hand consultations, $100 an hour. I hope to see you very soon. We'll be in the studio later this week, finally. We're getting everything set up, so it takes a minute, but we're almost there. Okay, friends, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.